that Tony Ayala Sr. came screaming into the room that the fight was off. He wasn't going to fight because he wanted to weigh in last night. Everybody wanted to weigh in 8 hours before the fight, and that's what it was this morning. And he came in a half a pound. He got it off easily, and the fight is on. You see the reach, 70-67. The record's very good, and of course the knockout ratio, 13-7, with the champion having the advantage there with 6 more knockouts.
That could be deceiving, Sam. It's the caliber of opponents he's fought. I noticed with his record, almost all of his knockouts came early in his career. And as he moved up to better fighters, the knockouts didn't come as quickly.
Well, the champion, we have word, is coming out of his dressing room and getting ready to make his appearance here as his entourage comes on. The Colombian-born Fidel Bassa now making his appearance into the ring, a young man who has climbed the steps to the title, winning the WBA title in February of 1987 with a win over Helio Zapata, who, by the way, he got a draw with and was scheduled to fight again here in San Antonio before the illness, and thus enter Ray Medel when that fight fell out. So once again, this is a fighter that has gone through some ups and downs, certainly mostly up with that 20-0-1 record, that draw to Zapata, the only blemish on his record. He also is a fighter that made $100,000 in his fight with his last opponent, Dave McCulley. That was in the defense of his title over in Belfast, Ireland.
Sam, I can't believe what they're doing. They're doing a phone interview with Bassa before the start of the fight. Can you imagine Angelo Dundee or any corner man allowing something like that to happen? His concentration should be on the fight, not doing phone interviews.
2 phones going at the same time back to Colombia.
Unbelievable.
And, of course, all of the folks back in Colombia watching with their natural sound and whatever they're getting on the telephone, I assume.
And they're keeping it up.
As I would assume they are asked to sit somewhere else when the fight finally begins. But nonetheless, both the fighters are here. We asked in the pregame, Joe, about dictating the tempo of the fight. And, of course, Medel would really be one of those guys that would have to kind of take it right at him. And as the referee is being introduced, let's go to our ring announcer, Bill Merriman, for the introduction of the fighters.
Presented by Cedric Kushner Productions of New York in association with Rich Landers KO Productions of San Antonio. Featured attraction of the afternoon, 12 rounds for the WBA Flyweight Championship. Introducing in the blue corner, the challenger from the Alamo City of San Antonio in Texas, in el Condado del Bejar, wearing the gold trunk and weighing 112 pounds with a record of 15-3, el hijo del pueblo, Raimundo, el leoncito, Medel, the challenger. His opponent in the red corner is the current WBA flyweight champion of the world, making today his 5th title defense, hailing from Barranquilla, Colombia, wearing black trunks and weighing 111 pounds, undefeated in 20 professional fights with 1 draw. Aquí están el campeón del mundo, Fidel Bassa.
Well, the introduction for both the fighters has been made in English, and it will be repeated in Spanish for those in Colombia. Let's pick up the introduction of the 2 fighters again.
Español, nuestro idioma. Pelearán 12 rounds.
very, very talented Colombian. He's defeated Dave McCauley, as I pointed out, twice. He defeated Zapata, or actually got a draw and defended his title. And Felix Martí was the other that he defeated. By the way, that Zapata fight was fought down in Panama. It resulted after the draw into a riot, and thus was the reason that the next fight, which was set to be here in San Antonio, was rescheduled. But again, an illness to Zapata has forced now Ray Medel to take his place for the world title. They are wearing 8-ounce gloves, normally the 6-ounce. And we'll find out how much that will affect this afternoon's fight, as Medel, who currently holds the title as a USBA flyweight champion, would like to add a few more numbers and letters to the alphabet soup for the WBA championship. And we are underway in round 1.
The distance won't be a factor in this fight. Both fighters have gone the 12-round distance already, the challenger and the champion. Both
list themselves in excellent conditions, as do their camps. Medel training at Kronk West out in Tucson under the tutorship of Tony Ayala Sr. Bobby Chams, the trainer of Bassa, actually the manager. Ramon Dosman is the trainer. And I'm happy to announce that the telephone hookups have ended in the corner of Bassa and now have taken their seats.
Sam, they haven't ended. I'll bet you they go in between rounds. We'll check it out.
They are still going a mile a minute to our left over here, as both fighters tentatively just trying to feel each other out here in the early goings of round 1 of a scheduled 12-round championship fight.
Bassa is doing what I expected. He's moving, he's using his jab, he's taking his time, he's picking his spots. Medel is not coming quite as fast as I thought he would, but I think it's early yet.
I mentioned Bassa getting $100,000 the last fight in defending his title in Belfast. Tentative numbers are $50,000 for this fight today, a far cry from the $50 he made in his first professional fight.
Just add a couple zeros, Sam. You know, Bassa in his last 3 or 4 fights was knocked down 4 times. But he always gets up, and he's never in trouble when he gets up, but he is prone to being knocked down.
Is that just carelessness, lack of defense, or what, Joe?
I really don't know. I didn't see those particular fights, Sam, but someone told me one of the knockdowns came because of a headbutt, and it was a terrific headbutt, and that he was not right for the next 2 or 3 rounds. So consequently, he got knocked down again in one of those rounds.
That, by the way, is the only time he's ever been cut in his career, too, with that headbutt.
That was with the Irishman, McNally.
Is that the tape you got to look at, Joe?
No, I watched the Marty tape.
All right.
When he fought Felix Martí, which was a great fight on Bassa's behalf. One thing you can watch for Bassa, he's not doing it right now, but eventually he will. He's got great uppercuts, both right and left uppercuts. And he uses them not only from the inside, there it is. He uses it from the outside, too.
Tremendous quickness, as you would expect from these flyweights. 111 for Bassa, 112 even for Medel. Closing seconds of round 1. A lot of time to go in this one as they're set for 12.
Good jab he's got on the outside. Very good jab. And there's that uppercut.
So the feeling out process is over. We'll head for round 2 in a moment. A good contingent of Colombian fans, along with those certainly here from the hometown of Medel, San Antonio. And over in that blue corner, Emmanuel Stewart from the Kronk Gym, along with Tony Ayala Sr. And Ramon Medel. That is Raymond's father, also working in that corner. Some good intenseness over that corner, Joe, and that's good to see. I know that's what you demand.
Yeah, I like the way they're handling that corner. Just one person is speaking, and that's Tony Ayala Sr. He's in total control of that corner.
Good look at some of the exchange here in this round 1.
Now there, Bassa threw a right uppercut from the outside, and Medel beat him with a left hook. That's one of the problems with throwing uppercuts from the outside. And if Medel were to land a big shot, it could possibly come that way.
Sam Smith along with Joe Ferriello. We are in San Antonio's Freeman Coliseum for the world title fight today. The WBA Flyweight Championship on the line. The man in the black from Colombia, Bassa, owns it. Medel wants it. Round number 1, good feeling out process. Anybody take advantage in round 1, Joe?
Oh, I thought that Bassa won the round handily. I thought he just did what he had to do. He used his jab, good ring generalship. Won the round easy.
Now, we made mention that Medel would probably try to take the fight as much as he could to Bassa. Is he doing what we thought he might do?
Sam, he's doing it, but he's not doing it with intensity, and he's not throwing punches. If he does it this way, he'll get eaten up alive. He's got to throw punches, and he's got to pick up the pace a little bit more. He's a little bit too tentative.
In an earlier fight now, another Colombian, Mercado, was penalized 2 points for low blows, and a warning for Bassa has just come from the referee. Montero from Venezuela has just warned Bassa for a low blow.
If Medel can back Bassa up like this and throw punches as he's got him going back, that would be to his advantage, because Bassa's not in a position to counterpunch.
Medel trying to get a little more aggressive.
Good right hand, and I think it shook him a little bit.
Bassa now trying to hold on as he's looking around a little bit. You saw Medel push Bassa off the rope to try to get him some punching room and try to become aggressive, and he landed with a right hand. Bassa came back with a pretty good right hand of his own right there.
I thought Bassa covered that right hand up. He got hit real well, because I thought he was hurt more than what he showed. And he got a left hook. Again, somebody is cut because there's blood on the top of Bassa's head. I don't know if it's a cut from his head or from Medel's. We'll have to wait and see.
Medel, as soon as he turns full face to us, and you two, the viewers, with a minute to go here in round 2, we'll survey the damage here. Doesn't look to be any blood on him, so it definitely is going to be on Bassa.
I think it's a head cut on Bassa.
It looks like it's on the hairline.
Right. It's up on the top of the head. That's not a dangerous cut. It might bleed a lot, but it's not dangerous.
Title Fights 88, brought to you by Miller Lite Beer. Our thanks to our executive producer, Lester Bedford, along with Jim Goodman, who furnished the facts and figures and numbers for us here this afternoon. Their untiring help always makes our job a lot easier. Straight left hand there, and followed up by the right hand there by Medel.
Medel still not putting enough pressure on Bassa, although he's done a little bit better this round, but still not enough.
Well, we'll have an opportunity to survey that cut in between rounds, and we'll give you a progress report. Closing seconds of round number 2. This is the championship for the flyweight championship of the WBA. Into the red corner we go with Fidel Bassa. And again, taking a look to see if there is a problem with a cut, as you see those that are working on him in the corner. And again, it is a cut, and Joe, you indicated it is at the hairline. It doesn't seem to be a problem right now.
No, that cut won't be any problem at all. In fact, right now, it's not even bleeding.
Again, a warning by the referee for the Colombian on a possible low blow, and there it was.
That was a pretty good left hook, too, Sam.
Obscured from the view a little bit, but definitely looked like it strayed, and the referee, Mr. Montero, was right on top of it. Across the way, Medel, being instructed by Tony Ayala Sr., who looks like he may have picked up a tribe or two here.
That low left hook was right on the side that the referee was looking at it, so he had an even better angle than we did on the screen.
Well, the preliminaries seem to be over as we move to the 3rd round now. This World Championship fight, WBA flyweight. Now warning to Medel from the referee. Again, Bassa, as Joe has pointed out, very talented, very multifaceted talents. He can slug with you, he can box with you. Knows no limits to his skills and talents, and Medel is going to have to be a step or two better than he is to get that title today. Tell you what, when Medel threw that left hook, he actually got him with an elbow almost right in the chin. Bassa changing a little here, Joe. We see a little subtlety in his game plan.
I don't think so. I think he's pretty much been the same the whole 3 rounds thus far. I'm waiting for the point where he drops inside with Medel and fights it out with him, and I think that point will come.
And blood in the hairline again from a cut sustained in the 2nd round. Doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment as we fought a minute here in the 3rd. Again, no longer the dinosaurs of 15-round title fights. We fight 12 today. Medel trying to counter again that uppercut to the body thrown with the right hand behind it by Bassa.
Bassa's doing a good job this round, Sam, of punching and then getting out before Medel can get back at him. And Medel's a little bit slow getting off. He's going to have to pick the pace up in this fight. Can't rely on one big shot at a time. He's going to have to increase his pressure and throw more punches.
Minute to go in the third.
There's a good right uppercut counter by Bassa. He seems to favor those uppercuts for whatever reason, I don't know, but there's another one. He's always throwing them to the body and the head.
It appears, Joe, that most of the people are always having to come at him or at least lunge in to try to get to him. They set that uppercut up a little, huh?
Yeah, what happens is, you see, Medel is lunging at him instead of moving in and getting a little closer with his feet. He's lunging at him, and that's why he's getting hit with those counter uppercuts. He can't punch from the outside. He's got to get inside first and then punch. And that's not what he's doing.
By the way, Bassa does have a considerable reach advantage of 70.5 to 67.5. So he can keep Medel at range if he uses the jab, and of course those long range.
I don't think it's a matter of him keeping Medel off. I think it's a matter of Medel not coming in fast enough.
And that's going to do it for round number 3 of this world title fight. Ray Medel over in his corner. You know that we're going to be talking about how to either avoid or at least try to neutralize those uppercuts that Bassa used so successfully. Again, Emmanuel Stewart, the man on your right, leaning in, but Tony Ayala Sr. has been, for the most part, the man they thought would do all of the instructions in the corner. They have diverted from that strategy just a bit for the moment.
Sam, let me point out that Bassa is now cut in the right eyelid.
And it does look like a fairly good cut, as a matter of fact.
It does. It's near the lid. It's on the corner of the lid, which is not a good place for a cut to be. And it looked. You're absolutely right. I think it was that headbutt that
could have been a headbutt right there. And that coming in the third round. So not only the cut in the hairline of the third round, but now a cut over the right eye, and it is on the eyelid, which is one of the most dangerous spots to get it.
And they have not controlled the bleeding, Sam. He's coming out this round with blood dripping down from that right eye.
Referee Inigo Montero. Bassa again with some cuts on the right side, which means the left hand or a possible headbutt. The only time other than he's been cut because of a headbutt in his career, and that may have opened it up here this afternoon. Joe, in the eventuality that, and I'm just looking down the road, the fight could be stopped because of a cut. Was there any indication by the judges, the referee, that it could have been opened by a headbutt at all?
No, none at all. And not only that, it has to be an intentional headbutt.
Right.
An accidental headbutt does not count. And the referee made no indication at all.
So keep in mind, had it been a clash of heads and an intentional one by Medel indicated by the referee, that would be a different situation than we're under now. Any stoppage here, the way it stands at the moment, would be a decision going to Medel, but that's a long way off. I'm just using a little down the road subjecturing at this point. Turned into a pretty good little brawling action right now, Joe.
The fight is not going quite the way I thought it would. I thought by this time Bassa would make a little bit of a stand. He's still moving, but he's not moving that well. He's trying to counter with one big punch at a time, and he's not taking advantage of Medel's charges.
Ray Medel, 21 years of age last Tuesday, trying to make his mark in the boxing world in his hometown of San Antonio against the world champion. Closing minute of this, the fourth round. You see the exchange as Bassa comes in there with that uppercut again. Favorite weapon indeed.
There it is as a counter. He throws it as a counter, and he throws it also as a lead. That time when Medel missed the right hand, there it was again. He countered with the right uppercut. But one thing he's not doing, Sam, he's not punching in 2s and 3s or 4s. He's just throwing one big counter, and that's all he's throwing. But Medel is doing even less than that. I expected a little bit busier fight by both fighters. But it is early yet.
So either by cautiousness or design, neither fighter really carrying the fight that much to the other. But again, keep in mind, as Joe pointed out, it is indeed early. Only the 4th of a scheduled 12-rounder. Just the minute I say that, action picks up at the end of the 4th round. As the two fighters disperse to their respective corners, we're going to have to go back into that red corner again and take a look and see if we've got any more action coming out of that cut. Doesn't seem to be a lot of concern on it right now, but again, it is on the eyelid as you take a look across the ring in the blue corner to Ray Medel.
It's a very small cut, Sam. I'm getting a good look at it right now. In fact, it's more of a nick than a cut. They're using some Vaseline. The cut's not bleeding now, so that's the reason they didn't use any of the Adrenaline 1000. Which, by the way, Sam, is the only thing they're allowed to use in this fight. They outlawed a couple of other drugs that they used to use in the past and they still use today. But for this fight, the only thing the corner's allowed to use is Adrenaline 1000.
So the preparations have been made in the corner, starting round number 5 of the scheduled 12-round world title fight. WBA Flyweight Championship, the champion, Fidel Bassa. He's in the black. The challenger, Ray Medel from San Antonio. Trying to take advantage of a golden opportunity on a fight that fell out. A replacement some 3 weeks ago, and now here he is in maybe the fight of his life. Medel trying to brawl a little bit more, pushing Bassa onto the ropes.
And I think they banged heads in there because Bassa come out with a funny look on his face, Sam.
Also maybe one of those that wants to rule the head gears into pro boxing, the way he's taking a beating tonight.
If he keeps getting cut like that, he will. Because 90% of cuts are caused by headbutts. Very rarely you get a good clean punch that causes a cut. It does happen, but it's rare.
On that break, Montero, the referee, warning Bassa again. A little under 2 minutes to go in the 5th round.
Sam, if Medel wants this title, he's going to have to come a little bit more than this. He's just not throwing enough punches, and he's not applying enough pressure. He's just letting Bassa dictate the pace of the fight. He can't afford to do that.
Joe, you thought I was going to let you off the hook on your scoring. Give me your scoring there quickly, will you?
Well, I've got Bassa winning all but the 2nd round. And it's because of the pace of the fight that he's dictating the pace of the fight. He's just out-cuting, out-maneuvering, and out-punching Medel. Medel's relying on one big shot. He can forget about that. Now he turns southpaw. It doesn't make any difference what side you fight from. You got to throw punches.
Now he switches back to the right-handed stance. Couple of point lead unofficially on Joe's card for the world champion here.
Those were good body punches by Bassa,
indeed.
and they got in clean.
Bassa, as a matter of fact, has lived a rough life. He was a fisherman. No, he didn't have the opportunities to fish with either nets or traps or hooks or lines. He did it with his hand. Caught the fish and sold him. Now does he have another cut on the bridge of the nose?
It might be blood just from the other one. I don't have a good look at it yet. We'll have to wait till he gets back to the corner. There's been a lot of headbanging going on inside, and that's what's causing these things.
Closing seconds of the 5th round, and we will indeed check and see if there is another cut possibly on Bassa in between rounds. So as the red corner will be a beehive of activity, I'm sure. We'll check and see first a cut on the hairline on the right side for the world champion. Then one on the eyelid of the right eye, which they are working on again. We thought there might be one on the bridge of the nose, and it appears there might be a scrape, but not a cut, it appears.
That's what it looks like, Sam. It looks like a scrape.
Strategy still pretty much on game plan here, Joe, for both.
Bassa is just out curing him. Medel is not putting on the type of pressure that he told me he was going to put on. He's looking for the one big shot. He can forget about that, Sam. This kid's too cute for that.
Both corners have done what they can. Their instructions, their patchwork. And now we're ready to go for round 6 coming up.
You know, I watched Medel in his last fight when he beat Ray Gonzalez, the gold medal winner. And in that fight, he was much more active with his punches than he is in this fight. And Gonzalez was an even tougher boxer than Bassa is. And he was much more active in that fight. Thus far tonight, he's not very active. He's not throwing enough punches.
Eno Montero from Venezuela, speaking Spanish to both fighters, which obviously one from Colombia, other a Hispanic here from San Antonio, fully understanding all of it. Full communications in the ring being understood by all. And he did warn both for the headbutts. Bassa still kind of scraping some blood away from the inside, just on the left inside of his bridge of his nose.
Medel's being a little cute in there now, Sam. He's wrapped his right arm around Bossa's neck and he started throwing left uppercuts. He was holding and hitting. But he did it in such a cute manner, it was tough to be detected. This fight's getting a little sloppy right now. There's too much clinching and too much pushing on. These guys ought to pull their hands free and punch.
How important does the third man in the ring become in a situation like this, Joe?
Well, up till now, the fight's been okay. He's been out of the way, but he's going to have to start stepping in, breaking them quicker if they start falling into those clinches as much as they were.
We're continuing to watch that cut on the eyelid of the right eye of the champion Bassa in the black. He got that way back in the 3rd round. He actually got an earlier cut in the 2nd round. But the cut over the eye is the one we're watching closely.
One punch at a time by Medel. Continuously, one punch at a time. Bassa's just out hustling him in there by throwing more than one punch. There's the one big uppercut, now nothing.
Into this round, we'll be halfway through the scheduled 12 rounds. 13 knockouts by Bassa in his 20-0-1 career. 7 knockouts in the 15-3 career for Medel, who is now warned again for holding. Mr. Montero says one more time, and that will be a point. And the way this fight's going, that could be an important point.
I just don't understand why Medel don't get going. He's got to throw more punches. He's just not throwing punches. He's throwing one big shot, and then he's content to lay inside and hold and grab and maul and push. And that's what's going on right here.
Medel almost to the point. It needs his San Antonio crowd to tell him it's a world title fight, because you don't get these shots maybe once in a lifetime. And he's got it right now, but he's not taking advantage of it as the 6th round comes to an end. Ray Medel, the 21-year-old San Antonio. Working on by Tony Ayala Sr., Emmanuel Stewart, and Ramon Medel. That's Raymond's spotter working in that corner with him. Won the USBA title February 8th of 1987 with an 8th round knockout of Henry Brent. He's had 2 title defenses since that time. And of course won a 12-round decision over Paul Gonzalez, the gold medalist of '84. And that, of course, defending his title, the USBA title, in the Sunken Gardens here in San Antonio before a crowd of nearly 4,000. Big fight for him. He needed it, and he got it.
This fight is half over, Sam, and Medel has only won 1 round. He better pick it up. He's fighting for a world title fight here. He better pick this up.
Seconds out, 7th round's next. Crowd settling in for the 7th round. Sam Smith along with Joe Ferriello. Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, the WBA Flyweight Championship on the line. Fidel Bassa from Colombia, the champion in the black. Ray Medel, the challenger in the gold. And on Joe's unofficial card, only one round has gone to the challenger Medel. The rest of it has all been the champion. One of the biggest fights ever held in San Antonio was that of Mike Ayala against Little Red Lopez. It was held in the Coliseum, the arena downtown. And one of the first championship fights ever seen by Ray Medel was that one. That inspired him to get in the ring. And now he's got an opportunity, but he's letting a little bit of it slip away right now.
Something should inspire him right now, because he's not doing what he's got to do. He's got to be more aggressive and throw more punches. He's just letting this opportunity slip by. Now, you notice that Bassa cut down on his movement, Sam, in this round, and he's starting to work inside a little bit more. And Bassa does a very good job of punching on the inside because of those good uppercuts. Medel is negating that somewhat by laying his weight on him and forcing him to backwards so he can't get off. But when Medel doesn't lay on Bassa, Bassa does a good job of punching in on the inside. Now here Medel is pushing, 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 and laying on him. Not even looking to throw any punches.
Hope you're enjoying our pictures and sounds from San Antonio. Tom Taylor's our director this afternoon. Our producer is Brian Godinez. Associate producer, a gentleman doing a lot of the work in the truck as well, A.J. Godinez. All of these guys doing their work along with the Rogers Cable System crew, and we hope you're enjoying it from San Antonio today.
Sam, the referee just took a point away from Medel for pushing Bassa's head down.
So 1 point after a warning for Medel. Medel getting the point take away, and again, he does not need that the way he's fighting as Bassa comes in with a good right hand. Medel straying a little low with the right hand, may get at least a look from the referee Montero, who didn't say much of it. You know, Joe, you had indicated that Bassa was crafty, would do what he had to do, and I think he's doing that very thing this afternoon.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's fighting his fight. Medel is not fighting his fight. And that's the reason why he's way ahead.
Let me give a little credit where credit is certainly due, and that, of course, is in the corner of Bassa. They have, at the moment, completely shut off the cut over the right eye. He still has a little blood on the bridge of the nose, which is no problem. But the right eye problem is no problem at the moment for the world champion. So as Medel retreats to his corner, the world champion goes the opposite way. And Fidel Bassa, his 5th title defense, finding out that Ray Medel came out early, gave him some contact, but again, it has gone to the wayside the way Bassa has countered it at everything he needed to do to hang on to this title this afternoon. It is not over, certainly, going only the 8th round, but as Joe has continually repeated, Medel has to get something going against this man.
Absolutely. He's just falling farther and farther behind. And pretty soon he's going to run out of rounds and he'll never be able to catch up. I tell you one thing, I would be awfully frustrated in that corner because Medel is capable of doing a lot more than he is. And that would just drive me crazy.
A 1-point deduction for a warning, and finally the subsequent holding behind the head by Medel. So he lost the point automatically to make it a 10-8 round. And now as we go to the 8th round, in Freeman Coliseum here in San Antonio for the world title, the champion slowly but surely starting to get a grip hold of his 5th title defense. Medel looks like he may have tried to...
Two good left hooks by Medel there. And the reason he got him in was because he threw them.
One of the things Joe had alluded to early on, you don't have to worry probably about the conditioning of these two fighters. Both looked at 111 and 112 to be in very good shape. Very good condition, and both have gone this 12-round distance before.
Plus, up until now, the pace of the fight has not been that hard, Sam.
Exactly.
It's not a fast-paced fight, which is what Medel needed in order to win this fight.
Can you imagine Mercado and Quiroga going 12 rounds the way they fought earlier? Wow, never.
Medel is making a little bit more of an effort this round, Sam. It's an ineffective effort, but at least it's an effort.
Bassa, again, as we pointed out, has all of the tools, the tactics, and the skills. He'll stand and fight with you if that need to be the case. He'll run from you. He'll box, he'll punch, he'll do what he has to do. That's what makes him the world champion.
You know, when Medel gets inside, Bassa is very, very susceptible to be hit when he pulls out of those clinches. But the problem is Medel's not throwing the punches. The crowd is edging him on a little bit more here, and he is good left hook. And that's what I'm talking about. He's got to throw punches. Now Bassa takes the play away from him by firing back combinations. That's what I was talking about with Bassa earlier, that he'll fight you on the inside, and he is effective on the inside.
Bassa stepping underneath the bottom strand and off the ring apron, being pushed back on by one of the judges across the way.
The crowd is getting a little excited because Medel is making an effort this round to pull it out. He's got a long way to go, but at least he's making an effort. Bassa can be hit here, Sam, but Medel's not pulling the trigger with the punches.
Medel again, who looked so sharp at the start of this round, trying to brawl on the inside, is throwing some punches, but Bassa doing what he has to do to just stay right with him.
But this is the kind of a pace that Medel had to make from early on.
And he didn't do it.
No, he didn't do it. You can't start this pace in this round. Good right hand by Medel.
There's the bell to end a very competitive 8th round. A much busier Ray Medel got things cooking here in the 8th round. But as Joe indicated, it's awfully late in this fight to try to do this against the world champion. But again, he did throw some very quality punches, landed on the champion. The champion came back with some of his own, but Medel had a solid 8th round, as we will fight 12 here, barring, of course, any kind of a knockdown or knockout in this fight.
Good right hand by Medel.
One of the things about it, he was so intent on throwing that right hand, which got in there. Had he been able to come back with a left hook, boy, was he open. Easy for us to sit here at ringside and look at it, but it was there. So the second's out. We're heading for the 9th round of this title fight.
Sam, when Medel throws the right hand, Bassa pulls back and tries to counter it with a right uppercut, and he's had a lot of success. But if Medel throws the right hand and comes back with the left hook, he'll beat him to the punch. And not only will he beat him to the punch, he'll hit him in a position that is very dangerous for Bassa. But Medel is not doing it. He throws the right hand and he stops, and Bassa counters with the right uppercut. It's been the story of this fight. Now Bassa doing a job on him inside with the uppercuts. There it is again. Every time Medel throws the right hand, Bassa counters with the right uppercut. Medel can beat him if he throws the left hook behind the right hand.
Definitely is a 1 punch only, and that's all from Ray Medel so far. Fidel Bassa trying to do what he can to get his 5th title defense of this flyweight championship.
Medel needed to start this pace from the first round on, because what might have happened had he kept a pace like this, it might have wore Bassa down. But we'll never know that because he didn't start this until last round.
And keep in mind, there was a 1 point deduction back in the 7th round of Medel holding. The way Bassa's fighting, it may not even come down anywhere close to being needed.
The cuts have been no factor in this fight.
Absolutely. Great job by the corner of Bassa to stop any what looked like potentially dangerous cut over the right eye.
He's got really 3 cuts, one on the eye, one on the nose, and one on the head. He hasn't bled at all. But they did a real good job stopping the cuts.
Joe, do you handle your own cuts, or who do you have?
No, I use a fellow by the name of Ace Marauder. I think he's one of the best in the business.
Ace works a lot of fights in the Atlantic City area that I've worked, and does a great job indeed.
He works with all the Olympic fighters, plus a few others, Frankie Warren and a bunch of different fighters. Now, what Bassa's doing here, Sam, is out-punching Medel on the inside. All that's missed by Medel. All that ineffective punching. Bassa's coming back with those short uppercuts underneath.
San Antonio's getting a good look at a true world champion here this afternoon. Bassa again doing what he has to do, even early on. Just kind of boxed his way through what Medel was going to come with, and he never came with it until really about the 8th round.
Bassa turns southpaw and then throws a double left hook. And he's hitting with Medel with uppercuts and short punches as Medel comes in. This is Bassa at his best on the inside, Sam. Short, chopping punches.
Closing seconds of the 9th round. There may not be a finer flyweight out there anywhere than this man from Colombia. Ray Medel will know he's been in with one of the best as the bell sounds twice. And punches were thrown after the first one. They hit it again, and they punched again as we end the 9th round. Tony Ayala Sr. went down the ropes to talk to Eno Montero, the referee, about the punches after the bell was sounded. As over in the corner of the champion, Bassa. Now we're still looking at, again, just a slight cut on the inside of the bridge of the nose. No problem there. The cut over the outside of the left eye. Excuse me, the right eye. Closed up very nicely since about the 3rd round is when we picked that up. And even got a cut at the start of the 2nd round in the hairline, which was no problem at all.
Those cuts were no factor in this fight. They did not deter Bassa from fighting the way he had to fight.
So the seconds come out. We're ready to go. And a bell sounds, and we are off and running. Round number 10 of a scheduled 12-rounder. The World Championship still in the grasp of the champion now, but in the reach of Ray Medel of San Antonio if he can come on and fight like gangbusters in the last 3.
What's so frustrating about Medel is the fact that when he does throw the punches, he does very, very well. He's in the fight, and he wins the rounds where he punches.
Bassa comes from some tough stock. One of 10 children.
Oh, big right hand by Medel. And Bassa's hurt.
Now if Medel can step out, get some punching room, and come back again.
Why doesn't he fire Medel?
He's not doing it.
He stopped him dead in his tracks with a right hand, and then he looked at him. That's about as hard a right hand as he can throw, and he hit him flush on the chin with it.
And a good right hand. But again, it's the one punch, Joe, as you've been saying all day.
Absolutely right, Sam. He's trying home runs now. He's got to get some singles and doubles and walks because he's got to hit one with the bases loaded.
Well, if he doesn't, he is indeed going to walk out of here with a disappointing afternoon. A chance has slipped away. The champion came to his backyard. Chance of a lifetime dropped in his lap with an illness to the challenger to the champion, Zapata. Who, by the way, we understand would probably be the next opponent if Bassa gets out of this fight.
Medel landed another right hand, Sam, that shook Bassa. But Bassa comes right back and does what he has to do. The sign of a real pro.
Crowd trying to urge Medel on. I was mentioning Bassa for the family of 10 children. His father passed away right after his title defense in Northern Ireland.
Good shots here to the body by Medel.
Yes.
Where were they earlier?
Where was this style of Medel? Until the 8th round, we didn't see any of it almost.
He dug a hole too deep. He'll never get out of it. He's got to let it all hang out here. He's got no time left. A little steam has gone out of Bassa, but none of his heart has left him. He's in there fighting to the end.
We saw that from Mercado in the first fight that we saw in our program this afternoon. He fought on gamely.
Well, this guy's not only game, he's very talented.
He is the champion.
What a fight this round has been. His mouthpiece almost went out from a left hook by Medel.
They will collect the beaten and wounded, take them back to the corners, and head for the 11th in a moment. Ray Medel being cheered on by the crowd. Indeed, as Joe pointed out, a great 10th round. But nonetheless, it may be too little, much too late for Ray Medel. Unless the next two are duplications, and he can land even more of those punches.
Well, you know, Bassa is deteriorating a little bit. He's slowed up a little bit. Here comes a great right hand. Look at that, right on the button by Medel. I'd look behind Bassa and see if anything was holding him up after getting hit like that. Another right hand. That one was a little bit high, though, Sam. But I swear, after getting hit that first right hand, I'd check something behind him because there had to be something holding him up.
Great action in that 10th round, and the 11th just behind it.
He's got the crowd in the fight now, and the crowd has got him in the fight. It's working both ways, a double-edged sword.
We said back in the 5th and 6th round the crowd needed to do this to him. It didn't. Even in the 8th round, when he finally caught fire, it was still rather quiet. They caught on finally in the 9th.
Well, Sam, he never gave the crowd anything to get excited about. That's what disappointed me about Medel.
Good right
Solid
hand.
Right hand, yep. He's going to hate himself if he loses this fight. Because had he started this attack at a much earlier time, he would have Bassa in trouble at a much earlier date. Boy, they're throwing bombs in here now. Bassa's trying to slow him up.
Oh, slip.
No, that's a slip.
Just a slip, no knockdown. Bassa slinging with a big right hand. Medel. What action he has brought on from about the 9th round on. 9 and 10 certainly. Maybe started at the end of the 8th. But again, unfortunately for him, 3 rounds may not make a fight. But it doesn't hurt.
And he's not outclassing Bassa. What he's doing is he's winning some of these rounds. This is what he needed to do earlier.
Joe, I love your comment. He's going to hate himself in the morning after looking at this tape if indeed he goes on to lose.
All he needed, Sam, was more pressure early and more desire early.
You know,
all the desire in the world now. Boss is deteriorating a little bit.
He is, and I tell you what, he is right now a candidate to catch another one of those right hands.
And get taken out. Look at this, another good right hand. You know what's keeping Bassa in there? Courage, strictly courage, and the fact that he's a champion.
He is the champion.
And he's a champion in every way. He got hurt with a left hook.
Medel trying to do something here.
Look at this.
Bassa trying to wipe the blood from his face.
But he's doing the right thing. He's moving, just trying to survive.
This is the 11th, scheduled for 12. His time running out on Medel. He's thrown everything he can throw at the champion, and he's still there. Crowd starting to hush into almost just a murmur now as they're waiting for one more big blow to get fired up again. Medel held it and held it and held it till the 8th round almost. Only selected punches along the way, but he's fought tremendously well since the 8th.
He's letting them off the hook at the end of this round, too. He's slowed down on his pressure. Bassa looking to clinch. That's a sure sign he's hurt.
Right above us, Medel goes back to work. There's the bell to end the 11th. Medel's not out of it. The champion, Fidel Bassa, from Colombia, 25 years old, making his 5th title defense. He will definitely be the mark to the 2 here this afternoon. But the way he's fighting, he will also still wear the belt unless something big happens here in the 12th round.
Medel almost has to knock him out, Sam, to win this fight. But like I said, he's going to hate himself tomorrow when he sees this.
You see him going right to work. I tell you, if that right hand had landed the way that Bassa was going back to the left, that could have been a big one there.
You see what's happening, and Bassa has deteriorated over the last 3 rounds, so Medel's punches will have more of an effect. Now, had he started this earlier, this pace, he would have had Bassa tired much earlier.
Enyo Montero, excuse me, the referee as he welcomes in the start of the 12th and final round. This is the WBA Flyweight Championship. The champion on the left, Bassa against the challenger Medel. Medel, almost like a man possessed since about the end of the 8th round on. But again, letting Bassa a little off the hook again in the 11th round.
Bassa shouldn't even bother trying to punch. Oh, he almost lost his mouthpiece again. He should just move and stick that jab out there, side to side, in and out. Just survive the round because he can't lose it. Although after watching that fight in the Olympics yesterday, I got to wonder.
Roy Jones, truly one of the big robbery jobs going in Olympic boxing ever.
They should have had a gun to steal that.
There were a lot of those that I wondered about.
They did it without a gun.
This one on a 10-point must system. Julio Rodon of Venezuela. Rodolfo Hill of Venezuela. Guy Tratra from Canada. Those are the 3 judges that will have it.
Bassa's doing the right thing here, Sam. He's not getting in any trouble. He's sticking, moving. He's using that jab. Shouldn't even throw that off-balance right hand. Makes him susceptible to be hit with a left hook counter. He should be just jabbing and moving. Almost a big right hand by Medel. Just missed with it.
Joe, one quick question on the 8-ounce gloves. If it had been 6 ounces, would we have seen any difference here?
I don't think so, no. But that's something we're never going to know, Sam.
Exactly. Well, Medel knows he's got to get out of those clinches in a hurry. He's got to throw some punches.
The funny part of it was the Bassa people wanted the 6-ounce gloves. And some of those big shots that Medel landed in the prior rounds might have had a different effect with the 6. It's possible. And the other thing was that the Bassa people didn't want to use anything but Adrenaline 1000 on cuts. And their guy winds up getting 3 cuts. You never know in this business. You plan, and the devil laughs.
Half a minute of a dream for Ray Medel. Looks to be snatched away. A chance for a world title in his hometown. The champion from Colombia, Fidel Bassa, has come into San Antonio, fought like a champion, and unofficially the cards will retain that title after the decision goes to the judges. This crowd has been entertained, but disappointed that San Antonio, one of their finest, will not once again get an opportunity to climb the wall to the world title. And there's the bell. The fight is over.